Hi, guys, welcome to the podcast. And on today's episode, we are talking about church hurt. So, to be honest, we're going to dive right into it. The reason why I'm talking about church hurt today is because I believe that most people get church hurt and they don't believe in God and they start believing in God. But I promise you, it's possible for you to be hurt from church and still have a beautiful relationship with God. And I'm going to be using my story to prove that point. So, this topic, I'm going to be referring back to my previous church and I might be comparing it to my current church, okay? And yes, I did experience the church hurt from my previous church, hence I left. But I'm not here to backlash anybody. I'm not here to say, oh, this church is bad or this and that. That's not what I'm here for. I'm just trying to help people going through something similar to be able to navigate their way and navigate their faith, especially. Okay, so before I even get to it, I want to talk about some of the things that I actually learned from my previous church that I would say, okay, maybe that's one of the reasons why God took me there. There are a few positive things that I can say that I've taken from that place, okay? So one of it is quiet time. I feel like that church helped me stay grounded and showed me the importance of actually reading my Bible and praying every day and just having a relationship with God. And I feel like when everything came crashing, that was what helped me to stay grounded and all of that. So, yeah. That's one. Another thing is evangelism. Like, I believe that God wanted me to, I wouldn't say God used that place to, would I say strike my passion or get my passion for evangelism started? Because I really enjoy evangelism. And evangelism is like a commission, it's a command God has given us. He said, go into the world and preach the gospel. So as Christians, you need to actually be going into the world and preaching the gospel. I know that your lifestyle can tell that you're a Christian, but you still need to go into the world and preach the gospel, because certain people would actually not hear about Jesus if you don't speak to them about Jesus, if you get what I mean. So those are the two things that I've taken from that place, and I have used, and not I have used, I still use up to today. I still do my quiet time. I still go out on evangelism. Okay, so now let's get into the tea. So what even is church hurt? Okay, I feel like church hurt manifests its way in different ways in different people's lives, but I have a list of things on my iPad that I'm just going to read out and then we'll go from there. So church hurt could be feeling rejected by people you thought were your friends. It could be gossip. It could be being judged. It could be being excluded. It could be being overlooked. It could be being treated differently because of your background, your finances, your appearance, your family situation, or something else about you. It could be a leader abusing their position. It could be spiritual manipulation. It could be someone using scriptures to control you. It could be pressure around money. It could be feeling like you are only valuable when you're serving. It could be burnout because you are constantly saying yes because you feel guilty saying no. It could be somebody violating your confidence. And then there are more serious situations like abuse, exploitation, harassment, discrimination, leaders protecting other leaders instead of protecting people who have been harmed. And I just think that we need to be mature enough to realize that these things can happen. And there's a big difference between somebody telling you something in church and you're hurt and you're offended and calling that church. Anybody can offend you, okay? But let's get back to the list, because I experienced a lot of these things in my previous church. Out of everything I've listed, I'm going to try and talk about the ones that I've personally experienced and maybe dive into it. It could be feeling rejected by people you thought were your friends. To be honest, yeah, there was a sense of rejection when I said I was going to leave the church, and my so-called friends who refused to be called church friends sort of like rejected me because like yeah, I decided to leave the church, to decide not to be friends. And one of the things that confused me while I was still in that state of church hurt was initially they would bash me for calling them church friends. But I left the church and you're not my friend. So that means you guys were actually church friends. Friends because I was going to that church, if you get what I mean. But yeah, so at the end of I felt rejected. It could be gossip. Oh my God. Don't get me started. I personally believe that in that church, there is a lot of gossip. And I feel like people don't understand how gossip affects relationship. And I'm here telling you that I'm here and I'm being honest. Yes, even me myself, I was a part of the gossip. But the thing is, yeah, I didn't it felt wrong to me at the start. I was just like, this cannot be right. You know, when you are new to an environment and something just feels off, but you can't really place it. And also, you made that place like your community and you want to be accepted by that community. So you let certain things slide. And I didn't realize that it was gossip and I didn't realize the impact of gossip until it sort of happened to me and made me realize, oh my God, Phoebe, this has been wrong from the very start. You had feelings about it, but you let it slide. Yeah, gossip does affect relationships. It affects so many things, and the gossip comes in a very the gossip has been spiritualized. I don't know how to explain it and I don't even want to get into it. But yeah, there was a lot of gossip happening there. And it could be being excluded. I did get excluded for over some for a few things. Like remember when you're just different, when you don't agree with certain things, or when you start standing out or like standing up for what's right, they start excluding me from things. Okay, to be honest, I don't care about the things that I was excluded from, and I wasn't even hurt by the things I was excluded from. Just to make it clear, okay. It could be being treated differently because of your background, your finances, your appearance, your family situation, or something else about you. I don't really think that personally happened to me, or maybe it did because I was Nigerian. Like, maybe it did, but it was slightly, and that wasn't why I was hurt. But it does happen actually. You are being looked down because of like you're Nigerian, you were not born here. Like they personally believe that being British means that you're superior, but no, you're not. There's a low key superiority the black British exude because we were born here, and it just trying to make the Nigerians or the ones that were not born here or did not have any other passport feel inferior, even to the point where some people would actually look at be denouncing certain part of that Nigerianness, if you get what I mean. I'm just like, what is going on? It was all banter. Okay, it was all banter. And it's quite subtle, I'm not gonna lie, but it's still very wrong. The Bible says, there is neither Jew nor Greek, there is neither slave nor free, there is neither male or female, for ye are all one in Christ Jesus. And that is Galatians 3:28. We are all one. Don't make anybody make you feel like an inferior. Like, we are all one, okay? And to be honest, it's not just that. Like I said, it's very subtle. Another part of it is just giving everyone else attention, everyone else that can help you with like ministry or your own idea of ministry, and then sort of like ignoring people that cannot do ministry as much as people, not because of anything, not because of they're lazy, but just because of like they're created that way. Like they might have some form of disability and you just don't give them as much attention as you give a fully able body. It still falls under it, and I feel like that happens. But Who am I? I'm going to continue. It could be a leader abusing that position. Oh my God. I feel like this was the reason why a leader abusing that position was the reason why I started talking, and I started reporting things, and I started doing things, and it just opened up everything. It made me realize that, oh my God, there's something deeper. You get if I didn't have an issue with one of the leaders, yeah, I was probably still in that church, if you get what I mean. Yeah, but having that issue with the leader made me see the bigger picture. So the thing is, I was having an issue with a leader, and I just feel like she was abusing her power. Like, and I think that I personally believe that that place is a toxic place. Yeah, I said it. It wasn't just for me, in the sense that leaders are actually encouraged to like shout at their subordinates, and it's called blasted. So they're allowed to like blast their subordinates and just say mean things about that person because the person is not meeting this target. I don't even want to get into it, but yeah, like they're actually allowed to do that, and I think that's toxic because even in a workplace, even in a secular workplace, that is not even allowed. So why am I coming to the house of God and I'm trying to even serve, and then you think you have the right to pull me down? Yeah. And there's a big difference because in my current church, if a leader should raise their voice at their members, you go to the disciplinary action. And I feel like maybe that's one of the reasons why I love where I am, because there's a lot of opposites. And I don't know if this is even the right thing to say, but you do not appreciate good things unless you've experienced abuse. I don't know how to explain that. I don't know how else to put it, but yeah, you do not appreciate good things unless you've experienced abuse. So yeah, so church hurt came from that. I think that was the root of it for me. It was the abuse of power. Okay, because now you are like a leader over me. You think you have the right to talk to me anyhow, to to bring me down. Like, no, I don't think that's what leadership is about. No, no. And I started having all of those problems. And I think another problem was, and I think, oh my God, see, my experience there has made me a better woman, in the sense that it's made me who I am now. Because like then I didn't really want to say, because that leader was a friend. I didn't want to. I wanted to call her out, but I didn't want to call her out in such a way that it affects the friendship. So I didn't necessarily say the things that needed to be said. But guess what? Whether I said, me not saying what really happened, we're still not friends now. So even if I said what really happened, we'll probably still not be friends. Either way, the friendship was going to be over. So I could have just said what I needed to say. So now I'm the kind of person that I would actually say whatever it is, like, yeah, okay, this is what happened. And I'll say, if you get what I mean. Now I don't really shy away. Like, I don't really care. Not like I don't really care, but like what would be. If the friendship was supposed to be over, it's going to be over regardless of what I say anyways. To get just from that experience. So definitely there was abuse of power by leaders. So just my experience, by the way. What else is here? What else have I spoken about? It could be spiritual manipulation. Guys, I'm going to merge spiritual manipulation to the next one, which is it could be someone using scriptures to control you. Guys, I feel like my experience in that church is the reason why I take I'm very what's the word? I try not to remix the Bible. Like, even if I need to paraphrase it, like I don't even want to paraphrase the Bible because people have remixed Bible verses. people have remixed Bible verses. Like, they read it out and they just remix it for their own benefit. It's not what the Bible is saying. It is not what the Bible is saying. Okay, let me give you an example, because this is real life example. And I promise you, when that happened, for some reason, actually laughed about it. It didn't feel right, but I still laughed about it, because when you're in that, I don't know, when you're in that environment, so many things is okay, even though low-key you know that it's not okay, because it didn't make sense to me. This is the reason why false prophets have members, because Paul, I think it's Paul has even told us that if you hear a word, go and double check. Go back. Go and do the work for yourself. Okay, you've heard this word. Go and now do the work for yourself. Say, okay, was this context right? All of that stuff. Go back. Because men of God just be saying things. Oh God, there's a lot to unpack from here. I'm currently reading the book of Jeremiah, and at some point Jeremiah even had to question God and ask, he asked God, are you a liar? Because a lot of prophets have said, oh, you guys will get peace. But when God was now like showing people of Israel his wrath because they were not obeying him, Jeremiah was confused, because that was not the prophecy he got from the men of God. But God had to tell him that those men of God said what they thought was right. It wasn't word from God. They just said what the people wanted to hear. You get what I mean? I'm not saying that this is all men of God, but some men of God, you guys, Benny Hinn confessed with his mouth that some of the prophecies he said were not from God. And this is a man of God that we hold highly. By the way, like, I'm not even trying to shade Benny Hinn. Like, he did a good thing coming out to actually say that, like, owning up to his mistakes. That's honorable, okay? So my point exactly is, all these men of God, like, they are men, they make mistakes. So, like, if a man of God is telling you something, go and fact check that. Go back to the Bible. Go and do your scripture. Go and do your scripture check. Go back and confirm. Anyways, let me tell you guys what happened. There's so many examples, but this one is vivid. Oh, it's vivid in my brain. So, and this example makes me realize that the mission statement of that church is to be a mega church. And there's nothing wrong with being a mega church, but when that is your main emphasis, there is a problem. Because you start doing things without God. You start doing things by your power and by your might. Okay, let me just say this part and move on, because I don't want to talk too much. Okay, so what was I saying? So yeah, remixing scriptures, manipulating scriptures for their own benefits and all of that stuff. So there was this church event going on. It was the camp, okay? Probably needed to be away for like 3 days. And everybody was, of course, encouraged to come, okay? But people were encouraged to come to a point where they were being encouraged to lie to their bosses, like literally calling sick. Like, as in, the pastor was encouraging them to lie so that they can come for this event. First of all, why are you encouraging a member to lie? You're a man of God. Why are you encouraging a member to lie? Why? But like I said, because of the emphasis in mega church, and they rate their services, their camps by how many people come to church, they will do anything to get people to come to church. They will do anything. So even if it includes encouraging you to lie, they would encourage you to lie. And the pastor didn't just stop at encouraging this member to lie. I was right in front of this. I witnessed it. This is not that they told me so. I was there. I was even laughing at it. Okay. He used the verse about Rahab, where Rahab lied to protect, I think it was two Jewish men that were spies. Yeah, and that's so funny because, and you know how Rahab lied, and then she was listed in the list of people that had faith, right? So that was the Bible verse that was used to encourage people to lie at work, because like Rahab did it and God blessed her. You do it and you get blessed at camp. But that is just so wrong. It's every shade of wrong. Like, how did I not see the wrong in it? Because I didn't go back to read my Bible and understand the context. So I'm going to try and explain what Rahab did. In life, you are going to be faced with two evils, and you probably have to pick one. But there's probably a lesser evil. To be honest, I don't really know how to explain this, okay? Pastor explains it well, okay? But I'm going to try my best, and if you get it, that's good. So Rahab technically lied. Not technically. She literally lied to save lives. Because if she didn't lie, and I'm not here encouraging lying, but if she didn't lie, they would have killed those two men. But you can't compare lying to save lives to lying so that you don't go to work. Like, it's not the same. It's not the same, my brother. It will never be the same. It will never be the same. Okay? So why is a man of God encouraging its members to lie? Manipulating scriptures for your own benefit. And let's go. It could be pressure around money. To be honest here, you guys, money is a very, 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 very tricky topic. But I'm laughing because there were actually a lot of red flags. Because this even happened like on my way out of the church. Like, this money situation I'm about to talk about happened on my way out. I can't really remember. But why is a pastor? So basically, it's the founder of the church's birthday. It's the founder of the church's birthday, yeah. Oh my God, guys, please don't get this wrong. Oh my God. I believe in honoring. I believe in honoring parents, honoring people, honoring your pastors. I believe in honoring. But there is a thin line between honoring and financial abuse, by the way. But okay. So it was the founder's birthday. So I'm just going to, for lack of a better word, I'm just going to use the word encourage. We're encouraged to give a certain amount of money, and it was specific. So workers were encouraged to give £300, and students were encouraged to give £150. So this is a while ago, so the amount might be wrong, but I'm giving you the range, okay? And let me tell you something. I was a worker at that time, but I promise you, I did not have £300 to give. But I couldn't even go and say, because if I go say, they look at me like, oh, Phoebe is this, or she's that, or she doesn't believe in honoring, or so. I mean, I was still trying to see what I could do. I'm just saying that is unnecessary pressure. Like, I don't think anybody has the right to tell anybody how much to give. So I've been fine if you said give what you have. But putting an amount, giving student £150, Students that work for like maybe like 20 hours a week. Do you even know what people's living situation is? I just think that's wrong, and I think that's a red flag. And yeah, so that's pressure around money. Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna stop there. And it could be feeling like you are only valuable when you're serving. Oh my god. Let's get into this one. So in this church, they believe in evangelism, like I've said. They believe in evangelism, and everyone is actually given a target. So some people have a target of 50, some people have a target of 100 to bring to church on Sunday, some people have a target of 10. And by the way, there's a cluster, okay? So your 5, your 10, your 15 can add up to the main person's 100, if you get what I mean. So it's not like it's individual, but yeah. So what I notice is the person that brings the most people is like the most valuable person actually. And for lack of a better word, my beef with the leader, she was a leader that brings the most people. So you can imagine that my case had no ground, because who are you? Like, Phoebe, you're struggling to bring 10 people. This person brings 100 people as a cluster to church. Why should I listen to you? You get what I mean? So that level of hierarchy, and that's why my case never really got the... One of the reasons, I don't want to say that's why, because one of the reasons was I didn't necessarily say exactly the things that were going on. I didn't necessarily say. So there was no way that, yeah, I didn't necessarily say exactly what was going on. But second of all, even if I did say, it had no place, because I didn't bring people. I didn't bring as much people as the person that I had an issue with. You get? So yeah. So that's that. Another thing is, it could be burnout because you're constantly saying yes because you feel guilty saying no. Oh my god. Yes. I did face burnout. So many instances. But one thing I want to say is, generally, it's a red flag if you have a problem with people actually saying no, people having different opinions with you. It's just a problem, because here you just have to go with the flock. You just have to go with the herd. What the herd is doing is what you need to do. So if everyone is going right, even though right is wrong, who are you to go left? And that's just the vibe that I got. Okay. It could be somebody violating your confidence, to be honest. Like I said, gossip. Everybody violates your confidence. You can speak to somebody about something you said in private. I mean, we don't want people to know, or doesn't need to be shared, but they'll still discuss that matter because they're trying to know the state of their flock. That's what they call it. So yeah, that's how they disguise that gossip, using scriptural terms to do things that are not right. So the serious things are like the abuse, exploitation, harassment, discrimination, all of that stuff. And leaders protecting other leaders instead of protecting people who have been harmed. So I did experience that. I did experience harassment. In fact, I don't even think the word is harassment. I think the word is bullying. So like I said, I was living with my church friends, and the minute I said I did not want to be a member of that church anymore, so it was a 5 girls. It was, so that means that leaves you with 4 versus 1. 4 of them ganged up against me, and when I say 4 of them, to be honest, I'll say 3.5, because I feel like one of them was one leg in, one leg out. To be honest, initially, I'm not gonna lie, like I said, I was hurt, they hurt me. But this girl I'm talking about, I wasn't really hurt by her, because I could see that she wasn't necessarily one of them. Okay. but she was one of them at the same time. So hence I'm saying 3.5. Anyways, let's move on. So yes, it was 3.5 versus 1. Why do I talk? We're going to talk about how to heal. Okay, so I'll let you know how to heal, but chill. So, like I was saying, definitely it was bullying. Bullying. They were just against me. Like, if I do anything, they were against me. Like, my music that, yes, 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 yes. They did complain about my music, yes, yes. But the minute I said I wasn't a member of the church, the complaint went from 10 to like 1 million. Or because like they showed me shaggy. Or because I said I didn't want to be part of the church. I didn't want to be a member anymore. Shaggy Pro Max was what I saw actually. Anyways, let's carry on. So, leaders protecting other leaders instead of protecting people who have been harmed. So I did tell the pastor that I have an issue with this person. Like, this is what this person is saying. And I tried to, I knew that I wasn't straight with the exact issue, or some of the exact issues, even though I said some of them. But like I said, I wasn't bringing 100 people to church. So I was dismissed. Not dismissed, but it just didn't hold any weight, if you get what I mean. And all I just want to say is that not every difficult situation you experience in church is church hurt. I'm saying this again, but there are just some that red flag, and all of this will lead to church hurt. And some people actually experience one of these things I've already said and are hurt, and that hurt is valid. But imagine experiencing several things in the span of 3 years. Yeah. Church hurt would feel like breakup. Remember that these people were like my friends, like they were my community. So when I had to leave, it was literally a breakup. And it wasn't just a breakup. I felt ashamed. I don't understand why I was made like there's just a little bit of manipulation that happens, because I don't understand why when I was walking away I felt ashamed. Like I couldn't even look them in the eyes and walk away. Like there's one day I brought my claim and it just escalated, and I ended up walking there with my head down. I'm not sure how that situation was turned around for me to feel shame, but yeah. Anyways, yeah, so it does, church hurts can feel like breakup, because these are people you trusted, these are your guys, like you see them every day, you're doing ministry with them every single day. Like I lived with these people. Like, do you get? I lived with these people. Like, how close can you get with somebody? We served together, we ate together, we laughed together, we cried together, like, and I just had to leave it because it wasn't right for me. It wasn't a right fit for me. And sometimes I do question God, like, God, why did you allow me spend 3 years here before I saw all of the things I saw? But like I said earlier on, God probably wanted me to learn how to my quiet time. It didn't need 3 years for me to learn that though. Or God wanted me to learn how to evangelize. It didn't need 3 years for that. I think another thing was God wanted me to learn how to work with difficult people. I feel like I can work with difficult people. I don't know. Let's talk about church hurt changing how you see God. To be honest, church hurt can make you question how you see God, because like, God, these are people. You said your word literally says that you give me a shepherd according to your heart. Let me not remix the verse. Let's go to Jeremiah, because it is in Jeremiah. Let's go to Jeremiah. I don't know why I'm shouting. Let's go to Jeremiah. I think it's Jeremiah 3. Okay, so yeah, it's Jeremiah 3:15, and it says, "Then I will give you shepherd after my own heart, who will lead you with knowledge and understanding." I mean, your pastor's supposed to lead you with knowledge and understanding. So I'm just like, God, I literally thought that was my shepherd. I literally thought that was my shepherd after your own heart. So If I got that wrong, am I sure I've got you right? I don't know. So many things can be a reason why. Because like you just like, God, you gave me these people, right? But God made different children. God has different children, different people. And to be honest, there's so many things I want to say. Anyway, you shouldn't look at people's life and translate that to God. God is not man. God is actually not man. God is not man. And remember that men, they have free will. Like, you shouldn't put your trust in men. You shouldn't put your trust in men. Yeah, you're supposed to trust God. So I'm always heartbroken when I go out on evangelism and I'm trying to talk to somebody about Jesus and they've just had a bad experience in church and they just think that the best thing to do is to leave everything God. A wise woman once said, and it's funny how that wise woman is PL actually, and this was even before I started coming to this church. I just heard her. I can't remember what I was watching, but I heard her say, a wise woman once said, when your child is bullied or when a child is bullied in school, you don't say, I don't believe in education no more. My child will never go to school. What do? You change the school. I think that the same approach you use for education should be used for church. If you get hurt in church, whatever type of hurt it is okay to leave. It's okay to leave. I'm a big believer of walking away from a toxic situation. Don't let anyone bamboozle you. Thank God there was a church like every 5 minutes. Like every step you take, there's a church. So if you experience church hurt in one church, it's okay to go to another church. I'm not here encouraging church hopping. Okay? I mean, and it's okay to actually church hop when you're looking for the right church for you. Okay, but if that is how you are like every single day of your life, moving from one church to another, then I think you should stay in one church. You should be planted. But because of you should be planted doesn't mean you're planted in a bad spot and you don't walk away. Walk away. Don't be bamboozled. Do not let them bamboozle you. Walk away. I'll keep saying this. In a toxic environment, walk away. Like I said, if you're being bullied, you will leave that school and you would change school. Same way, if you experience church hurt, if you're even being bullied in church, walk away. Leave the church and get another church. Do you get what I mean? So, yeah, let's not allow the way people do things or people's Christianity affect the way we see God. Remember that Christianity is even a personal race. Okay? Don't use somebody's own to don't let somebody's Christianity affect your Christianity. Like I said, I went through all of those I went through all of those and I was still able to find myself with church. And I still have a relationship with God. Do you get what I mean? Because I've come to realize that my relationship with God is the most important thing in this life. By the grace of God, I'm still going to be a Christian in the next 30 years, in the next 50 years, till I die. Nothing can take that away from me. By the grace of God. Do you get what I mean? Like, I believe in God so much. Like, God has come through for me. Even this whole church hurt experience I experienced, God has come through for me. Like, God has healed me. Okay? He has healed me. And I know that I want to talk about how to heal from church hurts, but I feel like this episode has gotten really long and I'll probably talk about that in the next episode. But what you're going to hear from me next week is God helped me heal. Take it to God and He will help you heal. Forgiveness doesn't mean access. Okay, like I've forgiven these people. Like I literally see them like almost every other week. and I'll say hey, hi, like would even have a brief chat. Do you get what I mean? I've forgiven them. But because if I've forgiven them, does that mean they would have access to my life? No. And I think as Christians we also need to learn boundaries. And during that season of my life, I did a lot of my quiet time on boundaries. So maybe one of these days on the pod we would actually talk about boundaries. Yeah. But this is probably gonna be my longest episode. So I feel like yeah, we'll leave it here. Just want to make sure that I've covered most things. And these guys, we're going to end here. And if you enjoyed listening to this, and if this has encouraged you one way or the other, if you know that there's somebody that's probably going through something similar, I'd like to encourage you to actually share this to this person so that they can get the encouragement they need, share, like, so that other people can see this. Those that need to hear this, subscribe. If you are listening on Apple Podcasts, drop a review. If you're listening on Spotify, drop a review as well. And I'll come back with part 2, where I'll be talking about healing and a lot more. Okay? See you guys next week. Bye.